What is up, guys? Back with another video. So as you saw from that beginning clip, what we have is bad ignition. Basically, we need to change out the spark plug today because it had trouble starting, and it's actually off camera, it had trouble staying on. So let me turn this off. Got the spark plugs, they're already gapped, and where they are on the Subaru, since it is a boxer motor and the pistons push sideways and everything else, we got two spark plugs right here on this side, then another two on this side. So for this side, it's pretty easy. I have enough room, I think, to basically move around. You got one coil pack right here, then another one right next to it. This one, a little cluttered. You need to take out the battery, you need to take out the washer fluid, and that's it as far as getting into there, which I'll find the other two, but let me go get that tool really quick and I'll be right back. Okay, so I got the gapping tool for the spark plugs. This is it right here. Basically what gapping is since this is spark plugs to ignite the engine, certain vehicles have different gaps to help them fire properly. And if you don't fire, and if they're not firing properly, the engine can hesitate, it can hiccup, it just won't operate at what it's meant to be. If you don't know what your gap is for a car, you can easily just Google it or go to AutoZone when you're actually picking up the spark plugs. Some of them will come already pre-gapped, some of them won't. Just to be sure, even though if they say they're already gapped, get your little tool and just check them. I'm gonna take out the washer fluid, I'm gonna disconnect the battery, pull that out. That way I can get to this side a lot much easier, then we'll go from there. All right, so I have the washer fluid container moved to the side. I got the battery over there. Now that we got this more cleared up, there's one coil pack right there and then another one right there. I think they're just held in by 1 12-meter bolts for each one. So once I get those loosened up and pulled out, I'll show you what we're working with. Both coil packs are now out. There's one right there. The other one's still kind of hanging in there, but it is already, the bolt is taken out. Just kind of maneuver it out now. Now to get the spark plug out, I need this 5/8 socket just to get deep in there, loosen it, and they pop right out. So two of the spark plugs are now out. They're a bit rough, but it's a good thing that they're gonna be replaced, all four of them. So let me get a new one right now and show you, the difference. Of course, it's gonna look a lot much better than this, but just to compare them. So here's one of the new ones. As I said already, the gap is already gapped now. For the Subaru, they told me it was at 30. Comparing a new one to an old one, you can, well, of course, tell. It's gonna make a difference in the engine now. I'm gonna pop both of them in and then plug everything back up with the coil packs, tie in everything, and then we'll get into the other side. Got the other side coil packs out. So I knew it was running pretty rough. I found the main reason. This is just burnt. Yeah. It's a good thing that I did replace these soon. At least that's out. We found the issue. I'm just gonna get these back in now. Forgot to mention that when you're actually doing spark plugs, you don't want to tighten these too tight because you'll just break them. And just like that, everything's tightened up back in its original spot. So we're actually gonna get the battery back in and put the washer fluid back into the spot and start it up. Right? Hey. There we go. Starts right up a lot much better than before. See you guys in the next mod. The video isn't ending yet. Oh, see you then. On to the second part of the video. Red Ranger back again. And today's the day we finally get this thing replaced, get this going again, because I am tired of it. Also, that thing is dying. That thing just locked up on its gears. I'm gonna need another car. So, pass this off to Ed so we can show you what I got. What's it been like, what? What did I say I was getting this? Like 2 months? It's been about 2 months, huh?
I'd say
a month and a half.
Yeah, probably a month and a half.
Yeah.
A little over a month.
So basically, I think a good month and a half. Finally, after having to go through so many weeks of just waiting for this. Finally, we got from Mishimoto. Took a while. I mean, I can understand. They said it was in stock. Find out a week later, oh, sorry, it's not. We're gonna have to wait about 3 weeks. Did that. Another 2 weeks just for it to send out, and well, we're here now. But this is what we got. We got the new expansion tank for the Subaru. So finally, we're gonna get this just installed. Replace this with that. Me and Ed, we're gonna flush the coolant. That way, we have a good, clean, semi-clean system in here. Get what's left out. I do have some OE Subaru coolant because it's highly recommended for this. We'll put the camera down and get started. So before we get started, this is what we're gonna have to do. Just remove these 3 lines, 2 bolts, and another one down there. So once those, yeah, right there. So from what I heard, we have to cut these a little bit because it might be a little bit too long for that application, but it's nothing to really worry about. Just cut those off. But yeah, we're gonna drain this, get it cleaned out a little bit, and we'll drop that in. Really simple install. Just bolt on and plug the hose back in.
Okay. Let's see.
Expansion tank is in. Had to cut a few lines because with this aftermarket, it is slightly a bit wider. Doesn't look like it, but it is a little bit wider. We had to cut the lines a little bit, that way the lines don't kink. Just do a few measurements, cut those off. Got this one cut already. Got the back hose cut. You can barely see that. This is basically done. Make sure these are tightened up. We got some, as I said, Subaru coolant, long life. Get that in, and hopefully this will take care of the issue that I've had for the last few weeks, months. Yeah. Let's get those lines cut, tightened, and get back to you. A few things have happened since the last clip that you saw. This is the next day over. And let me say, we did get the expansion tank in, of course. We got all the coolant refilled, but there was one issue. I did not film this. I actually replaced the thermostat in the car. Starting with that, the gasket for the thermostat was wrong. I had to go to AutoZone to pick up the right one. After that, it did seal properly because it was leaking when I first started it. But after that, I did run out of coolant because after it leaked a bit, it leaked a good amount actually. So it was on a weekend, the dealership was closed. I did just stop by the Subaru today. I got some of that coolant again, but we have a small issue, which I was really hoping it wouldn't be, but I mean, the signs were there. I just tried to push it to the side, but let me show you. All the lines are connected. As you can see here, we got some coolant basically sprayed everywhere. And what happened was, as you know, the car was smoking. That is usually a sign of a blown head gasket, which is something that I really did not want to accept that it had happened. After this car first started overheating, and even till now, the coolant reservoir tank right here, the overflow, it was always bubbling afterwards. I never knew what that meant. I thought maybe it still had something to do with the expansion tank. So after filling it up today, I drove it around. It actually stayed pretty cool until I gave it a little bit more power, and it started overheating again. So what did I do? I came back, popped the hood. As I was driving in, you can actually see right there, left a trail of coolant, so I knew something either popped off. I was hoping it wasn't the thermostat, which it wasn't, but in the end it was actually this. The cap popped off of this because of so much pressure that was going through here that it just bubbled over and it was leaking coolant, which led to it overheating again. But getting to the point of the blown head gasket, I decided to look what this could mean, why it was just continuously bubbling. And from what I got off of Google, it says that if there is even a small leak in the gasket, combustion gases from the engine can make its way into the cooling system. And from what that sounds like, it does make sense since it is bubbling over. All those gases get into the lines, and well, unfortunately, this was a successful but failed attempt at getting the Subaru back up and running. So what I do have to do, I have to get the head gaskets replaced. is not going to be a fun thing. I'm not going to do it personally because I do not have the tools, I do not have the time, and I do not personally trust myself with doing such a task yet. So probably the next week or two, I'm going to try and find someone here who can do it, who I can trust, because I know a lot of people are scared to actually mess with imports because sometimes they can get complicated. I promise this thing will be up and running. Hopefully, I want to say in the next 3 weeks, because I want to push it. I just want to start driving this again because, to be honest, that guy's dying. This thing just gets stuck in gear, but it's really that one that I'm starting to get pissed off at. This is where the video is going to end off. I hope you liked it. I forgot to mention this in the last video, but Isaac Valentine, who lets me use his music for these videos, he actually posted 27 new tracks on his SoundCloud, so I really recommend go check him out. I heard a lot of great things. A lot of them are really good, so I really recommend go check him out. Link will always be in the description. This is the end of the video. I hope you guys liked it. If you want to see more, make sure you subscribe and always hit that bell notification button. And if you liked it, like it. If you didn't, okay. I'll see you in the next one. I do have a small install plan for the Subaru, but hey, I'm actually, in some cases, this is both a fun experience for me because I get to learn about this engine. I get to learn more about just what goes on in an engine, because I mean, from what I know the basics, and the more problems I come across, yeah, they suck, but at the same time, it's a learning experience for me. So it's great, but also sometimes a letdown. So I'll see you guys in the next one, and stay chillin'.